Hi, I'm Wayatt.
And hi, I'm Nigel Sims.
We're doing the Idiots Talk Politics from middle school, blah, blah, blah. Our first discussion is the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment has recently been protested by many people, and there's been a recent Richmond rally with thousands of gun owners showing up. So, Nigel, as we always do, we'll start off with you.
Okay, Second Amendment. It's dumb. It's pointless since we don't need to defend ourselves anymore. We already have one of the strongest military, and it just causes more accidents. Wyatt, you said in a previous conversation we had that if someone, for example, broke into your house and then the Second Amendment gives you a gun to defend yourself against that person with a gun, correct?
Yes.
What if that person never got their gun?
Well, no.
And they never broke into your house?
But the thing is, they were a criminal. What? Oh no! Imagine if everyone just rode unicorns to work. No, they're gonna break into my house, and they're gonna go. Most of the guns that are committed crimes with, they're illegal guns. It's illegal to own them. They're felons. They're not supposed to own guns. That's where most of gun crime comes from. So they're criminals. They don't listen to laws. That's what makes them criminals. So you really expect, say, some freaking potential school shooter or mass shooter.
School shooters are only school students.
Or mass shooter to listen to laws. If he wants to get a gun, he can buy it off the black market or off of some gang member. He's not going to listen to a law. And also, it does help the good people.
Here, young man.
Hey, Woodrow, what are your views on the Second Amendment?
What is that?
The right to bear arms.
I think that you should always have two arms on you.
Very good. But are you familiar with who Jack Wilson is?
Jack Wilson. Isn't that a baseball game?
No.
Jackie Wilson.
No, that's Jackie Robinson.
No, I'm not.
You're not familiar with who Jack Wilson is? So this was a couple months ago. There was this crazy dude who walked into a church and he wanted to shoot it. But 8 people with concealed carry permits popped up and said no, and shot his. They switched cheesed him. Jack Wilson was the main shooter. If with its current laws that people are trying to impose, he would not be able to possess a firearm. So, what do you have to say about that?
We should go all the way back.
What I have to say is, if he was not able to possess a firearm...
No. He is able to possess a firearm. If I really wanted to, I would walk over the border of Mexico and smuggle myself in.
I like Mexican people because they make avocados.
Another insightful point from Woodrow.
My name's Woodrow and I'm the smartest here.
Yes. But, if I really wanted to, I could buy one off the black market because there's tons of them smuggled in that we cannot control. So why not? The bad guys, if they want to, they're going to get a gun if they really want to. So why not arm the good ones? That mass shooter, all of his guns, he was a convicted felon and crazy. He was not allowed to own those guns legally. But you know what? He didn't want to listen to laws. So he got them.
The problem is with the right to bear arms... People who have... Okay, the problem with the right to bear arms is people who have not been proven to be at all mentally unstable before they get their gun with even a background check, they're fine. Then they shoot up a school. If you didn't have...
I just want to point out that 90% of school shooters, their guns were taken from their parents. Their parents... 90% of them, they knew their guns were either taken from their parents without knowledge, or they were illegally purchased via a gang or some other way. So,
what if the parents never had the guns?
Well, that's the whole point. What if somebody breaks into my house? So imagine this, since you're always talking... A knife. If somebody has a gun, what's a knife gonna do? Oh my God! Not everyone around here is a professional knife thrower. Nick, come here. Listen to this. So we're talking about the Second Amendment, and I'm like, well, what if somebody has a gun and breaks into my house? He's like, knife. I'm like, not everyone. Dude, he's 25 feet away from me. He sees me grab a knife. Bang, bang. I am no longer existing. I now have a nice breeze going through the center of my chest. So that guy wants, and what if I have a gun? You see, I'm going to go get my concealed carry or my legally owned gun And you familiar who Nick the Reaper is? Crazy guy with a gun, illegally purchased. He was a gang member, felon, wasn't allowed to own a gun. Walked onto his porch and started stealing his stuff. Nick, a former Army veteran, had his concealed carry and multiple other guns that he was licensed to carry. Walked out, held the guy at gunpoint. Guy raised his gun. Nick shot him in the foot. And he dropped the gun. And then he was able to apprehend him till police got there. Thing is, police are 5 minutes away. 5 minutes, I could be dead. And another thing is, your thing. Well, we have the strongest military. The thing is, what if, say, our president has a freaking mental break and starts being oppressive, or we get a new Hitler or something else? I guarantee you, if the German people are someone who's been severely oppressed, like all those people that you're talking about who have been severely oppressed, Nick, you know those people that you're always talking about, their government is oppressive. If their country had a constitution that allowed them to own a firearm, this wouldn't happen.
That may be true. Fair point. Now, next topic, foreign countries. Hit it, Wyatt.
Foreign countries. What about Russia? So Russia right now, it's actually not doing that bad. Most of its people, its government's so corrupt that they're letting most major crime bosses go through. But it's not doing that bad right now. It's kind of just sitting there. It's being an average country. Its government is heavily corrupt, but right now it's not posing any imminent threats. And I'm not a full Donald Trump supporter,
That's where you're wrong.
but
No imminent threats. That's where you're wrong.
if they wanted to, like the U.S., if they wanted to, we can nuke everyone. So could Russia.
They
But
interfered with our election.
yeah,
That is the basic foundation. The people choose the government. That is the basic foundation.
you want us to go to war with another country that's going to result in millions of deaths?
No, I think we shouldn't have a president that screams and gets angry at his staff members when they suggest heavier election protection of the...
That was actually proven to be wrong, and actually, I know someone...
interfered with the election.
Yeah, they interfered. Yeah, and you want to know another thing that Donald Trump did? So there's these crazy guys.
I need the phone. Like, I'm the here.
There's a crazy guy, like Vladimir Putin. He could have gone to war with us if he wanted to, and millions of people would have died. But you know what Donald Trump did? Donald Trump did some negotiations. He actually worked with him. And I'd rather actually have a president who does some work with him, so we don't have a major enemy that's one of the world powers, and opposed to like what Obama did, who just basically ignored him.
Putin negotiated with Trump. That's
Yes.
what you say.
Yes.
You mean blackmailed Trump?
No, he didn't blackmail
Ever
Trump.
heard of the PP tape?
The PPT. He said pee-pee.
Have you heard of it?
No.
So, allegedly, there's this tape. Trump stayed in a hotel in... Yes, allegedly. Trump stayed in a hotel in Moscow. That is true. There were other women in his room. That is true. Allegedly, there is a tape of the other women... Could you not? We're talking about politics now.
Yeah, but the thing is, everyone knows that Donald Trump cheats on his wife. They're not blackmailing him with that. Everyone already knows this. They're not
with guys all the time, so.
You know, technically, we have dirt on Russia right now, too. I bet you money that we have classified dirt on Russia right now. The CIA has everything.
What are you gonna say? I'm sorry.
No, moving on to policing in America.
That
Nigel,
was one foreign country.
moving on. Policing in America. What's your views?
Policing in America, ICE is unfair. It's targeting minority voters, and
It's not targeting voters.
Minority
Those people
voters.
can't vote, idiot. They're not legal citizens.
what if they are? But what if they don't have their visa yet or whatever? They're qualified to
Wait,
be
they-
citizens, but then they get kicked out back into the war zone. And
Then they can. No, they're just deporting them back to Mexico. Mexico's not a war zone right now.
some of it is.
Yeah, some of it, but they're not.
Back to Central American countries that have bombs.
They're not taking them all the way to Central America. They're not. And policing in America. ICE is not unfair. They're taking the illegal immigrants. So you're not gonna have a problem with ICE if you come in here legally.
ICE, not ISIS.
Oh, ISIS, that still is a problem. But actually, it's not as bad a problem because our president did negotiations. So, Nigel, what about the other parts of policing in America? You know, the actual police.
Yeah, police. Also related to Mike Bloomberg. Have you ever heard of the stop and frisk policy?
Yes. And actually, it's not that bad.
Where's gay pride underwear?
Stop and frisk isn't that bad. It's targeting people where they can say, hey, this guy looks like this. So then if they think that guy has a gun, they can stop and frisk him. Nobody gets hurt. You get stop and frisked. And you can go on your merry way. If you have an illegal gun, they get the illegal gun. You have illegal drugs, they get the illegal drugs. So don't have anything illegal and you don't have to worry about stop and frisk.
Stop and frisk was unfairly targeting minorities, black voters. This is...
What do you mean black voters? They're not... No, nobody has control over black voters. They're not putting them in black voters. And if you're saying they're racist, you could say they're targeting African American people. But they don't have
Do you know what DWI is? Driving while intoxicated?
Yes. My dad was a state trooper.
Did you hear about the no driving while black movement?
That's stupid. Police don't specifically train to go, hey, that guy's black. I don't like him. Arrest him.
Come two cars driving along at the same speed. They're both going a little over the speed limit. The police choose to... Two police. They both pull over the black driver.
The black driver?
And the white driver keeps going.
I don't know. They could have seen something. Police aren't that racist. There's tons of black officers. And the thing is, people are always like, there's only a few bad apples. The thing is, there's barely any bad apples. They're not racist.
So hard.
They could have seen that the guy was wearing gang colors. They could have seen that he was swerving.
I'm leaving. This is too crazy.
And that concludes our podcast for today.